The world of fashion is dependent on being psychic, or as close to it as possible. This is no different from any other market. The business is based on trends and sales predictions. Those predictions must be as accurate as possible so that suppliers know what customers are going to buy during a particular season and to make sure that supply and demand can be balanced. In today's economy, prediction comes down to data collection and analysis. Data in the fashion world has two main sources, internal and external. An internal source of data comes from inside a company. An example would be sales figures of previous seasons. Companies look at what's sold previously to anticipate what will be popular in seasons to come. This image here depicts graphs of revenue and stock performance for the retail company Nordstrom. However, the past is not an exact predictor of future trends. To aid in anticipating trends, external sources of data are also used. Examples of external data are trends on social media and other forms of feedback from consumers. The improvement in technology and rise in big data have changed the nature of external data mining. Historically, trend predictions were based on what a select few people wanted. Now, more sophisticated technology means the use of larger quantities of data to predict movement and shifts in sales. The involvement of big data in the world of fashion means a larger pool of figures to collect and analyze. Now, social media sites can be used to study the interests of a larger group of consumers, to better understand them and sell to them. Big data and its involvement in the fashion world has not only drawn in and urged for more technologically sophisticated retail companies, but also purely tech-based companies. Examples of this are groups like Retail Next and Edited. These companies deal solely with acquiring and analyzing data for retail companies. Though some retail companies have their own teams to analyze data, technology companies play a huge role in translating big data into more profitable sales. Tech sites provide a range of services to a range of companies. Companies like Edited have a varied list of clients and a varied list of products. The previous image was a screenshot of Edited's site. It briefly talks about what the company is about. This is a screenshot of products and services the company Retail Next provides. As you can see, there is somewhat of a focus on examining and analyzing the physical setting of a store and the physical presence of buyers. The other focus in external data collection is internet-based data. What consumers are doing online is very important too. Social media sites allow users to share their opinion on topics such as popular style and dialogue about subsequent purchases. Companies can collect this information to anticipate the inclination of future sales. Companies can also use other information provided by these sorts of sites. Information such as most visited pages and geographical location of a customer. This allows companies to better track and understand geographical and environmental demographics and their individual trend patterns. Finding more individual patterns and being able to pinpoint and separate different demographics equates to being able to make better trend predictions. Making accurate predictions is the most important thing in the fashion business. But who determines what a trend is? Who determines what the latest style is, what is considered fashionable, and what is the next big thing? Do companies sell to consumers, or do consumers buy from companies? And is that the same thing? Some people say that companies and designers decide what a trend will be. According to this theory, consumers essentially buy what they are told to buy. Evidence that can be used to support this claim would be the research companies do about what consumers buy using the technology-based companies that specialize in data mining. People who support this theory would say that companies study what makes us buy something so that they can manipulate us into buying anything. The top image here is of an article that describes some commonly used marketing techniques. The bottom image is an example of one of the techniques described in the article. The heavily researched field of marketing makes a case for this theory. There are books, classes, websites, and careers dedicated to marketing. Research has shown that it is somewhat effective. There is a correlation between the sales of a company and its marketing strategy. So it seems the companies are succeeding somewhat in convincing the public to shop. The point of view the companies decide what a trend is raises the question of self-expression versus brand expression. We so often believe that the clothes we buy and wear represent a part of who we are. But is the truth really that what we wear represents how malleable our minds are? Do our clothes really represent the most successful company, the one that was most convincing to us? The first theory has a major flaw. The evidence can be interpreted in a different way. The second theory about trend predictors is that consumers decide what a trend will be. The research that companies do about a shopper is used to decide what to sell based on what the interests shown are. Companies may find the best way to sell something to a consumer, but the consumer still has free will. Other factors also determine whether a person will buy something, other than if a company is convincing and selling it to them. A demographic-based target or focus comes into play here. People of certain demographics don't buy certain products, and that has nothing to do with marketing. A clothing store cannot convince someone living in Hawaii that they absolutely need a parka. Designers in the fashion world can only sell what shoppers want to buy, therefore buyers do have a say in the market. In fact, we have so much power that we determine the successful companies. Companies compete for our attention. We neither focus on only one or pay attention to every single one. While predicting trends, a company must factor in another external source of data, the performance of other companies. So many factors affect trend predictions. In reality, I think that trends depend on a mixture of consumer and producer input. While buyers do have free will, marketing schemes are proven to be somewhat successful. Trends are not decided only by buyers or sellers, but by a combination. Both internal and external sources of data are important in predicting trends because both illustrate the source of input into creating the trend. These sources are used to balance supply and demand. If a prediction is accurate, supply and demand will be balanced, but if not, they will be unbalanced and the company will suffer. As the co-founder of Edited stated, every time you see a product on discount, it's because the wrong decisions were made. This refers to the fact that when supply is overestimated and demand is not as high, product is left over. When predicting fashion trends, there are some important concepts to keep in mind. What consumers want and what companies want to sell defines the next trend. Predicting this requires analyzing previous trends, and patterns in behavior of people and companies. Companies that most precisely predict trends are the most successful ones.